Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is shaving a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The news shook Los Angeles like a lightning bolt. Don Diamont, the legendary actor who brought to life the ruthless, magnetic, and often infuriating Bill Spencer Jr. announced his exit from the bold and the beautiful, leaving millions of fans gasping in disbelief, hearts aching with the impending void of the towering tycoon, whose every scheming move, fiery confrontation, and occasional glimpse of vulnerability had kept the Forrester Logan Spencer saga pulsing with drama for decades. And now, the soap opera's writers were challenged with the monumental task of crafting a final storyline worthy of Bill Spencer's legacy, a narrative arc that would capture his essence, test his relationships, and leave viewers both heartbroken and awed. And from the very first moment of conceptualizing his exit, the storyline writers decided that nothing less than a true Bill-style climax would suffice. One that would merge scandal, redemption, power, heartbreak, and the kind of signature Spencer ruthlessness that Don Diamont had perfected over years. Because leaving the show meant more than simply writing a character out. It meant giving fans closure, paying homage to a character who had dominated boardrooms, bedrooms, and living rooms for generations, and ensuring that every shred of Bill's complex persona, the father, the lover, the corporate shark, the friend, the enemy was represented in a final, unforgettable narrative. And South's story began with Bill at the pinnacle of his power, yet standing on a precipice of personal reckoning as he had just finalized a groundbreaking merger with Forrester Creations that would secure his family's financial empire for years to come. A deal that was both lauded and despised in equal measure, drawing admiration from the boardroom and eye from rivals. Yet, even as Bill celebrated with champagne and a triumphant smile in his office overlooking the glittering Los Angeles skyline, his mind could not escape the ghosts of his past, the complicated web of relationships with Brooke, Katie, Liam, Steffi, and even the estranged Spencer children who had often questioned his methods and motives, because Bill Spencer was never just a businessman. He was a man whose heart, for better or worse, often collided with his ambition. And this final chapter demanded he face the ultimate reckoning not just in the corporate world but in the tangled emotional worlds of love, loyalty, betrayal, and family. And so the first domino fell with a revelation of a shocking medical diagnosis. A sudden serious health scare that left Bill vulnerable, introspective, and forced him to confront mortality in a way he never had before, shattering his usual armor of invincibility. And this vulnerability became the catalyst for a cascade of emotional confrontations, starting with Brooke, who despite years of tumultuous history with Bill, was drawn back into his orbit by fear, love, and unresolved tension. And their scenes crackled with the energy of decades of chemistry, from whispered confessions to explosive arguments, from longing gesto bitter recriminations capturing the audience in a whirlwind of nostalgia and heartbreak. Because fans knew that Bill and Brooke's story was never simply about love. It was about power, influence, and the magnetic force that kept them orbiting one another even when the world tried to tear them apart. And amid these moments of intense emotion, the storyline introduced the second critical thread. Bill's strained relationship with Liam, his son-in-law turned rival, whose life had been upended countless times by the Spencer patriarch's meddling, manipulations, and sometimes misguided attempts at protection. And the final arc demanded that Bill and Liam face each other not as corporate enemies or adversaries in love, but as men forced to reckon with family loyalty, generational conflict, and the devastating weight of truth. Because what would Bill's departure mean for Liam's future? And could father and son-in-law find a place of mutual understanding before the inevitable goodbye? And just as the audience braced for a typical Spencer-style power play, the writers unleashed an emotional earthquake, a hidden secret from Bill's past. Long buried beneath layers of business triumph and personal scheming, emerged in the form of a confidential document revealing a shocking betrayal that threatened to destroy the Spencer empire. A twist that sent shock waves through every character connected to Bill, from Steffi to Hope, from Katie to Rich. Because even in his final days on screen, Bill's presence had to dominate the narrative, demanding attention, inciting drama, and leaving everyone questioning their alliances, their hearts, and their loyalties. And as the crisis unfolded, Bill's health deteriorated further, giving way to moments of raw, unguarded humanity rarely seen in the Mogul, where he admitted fears, regrets, and confessions to those closest to him. Each scene masterfully written to balance tension, sentiment, and the high-stakes energy the character had always embodied. And in these intimate moments, Don Diamond's performance shone brightest, blending gravitas, vulnerability, charisma, and subtle humor, reminding audiences why Bill Spencer was not just a character, but a phenomenon. A man whose presence could dominate a scene with a single look, a carefully chosen word, or a well-timed smirk. And the storyline made sure to honor this by orchestrating one final confrontation with Sheila Carter, whose complicated history with the Spencers had always teetered between mortal threat and begrudging alliance. And this encounter was electric, filled with suspense, danger, and moral complexity. As Bill had to negotiate, manipulate, and outwit Sheila one last time, proving that even in the face of personal decline he remained a strategic powerhouse whose intellect and charisma could turn even a life-threatening confrontation into a defining moment of brilliance. And as these plot lines intertwined, the corporate intrigue, the family drama, the romantic tension, and the legacy reckoning, the writers crafted a series of emotional showdowns, including a tearful but powerful farewell with Liam, where father and son-in-law came to a hard-won understanding, a scene layered with apologies, recognition, and a sense of closure, and a heart-wrenching conversation with Katie, who represented the moral compass of the family, and